All right. So we finna get right into it. Oh yeah, I gotta share this to the chat. Gotta share it to the chat. Okay. So, kind of first and foremost, want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Mashak, Yahushua. And we're going to talk about Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving because a lot of people don't really know what Thanksgiving is about. Shut my door. A lot of people don't know what Thanksgiving is about. We were all taught that Thanksgiving was, the white man coming over, the natives accepting them, and it was all kumbaya. We all just got together, enjoyed each other's peace and enjoyed each other's company, and there was no bloodshed, and it was all just happiness, and everything was just good. Right? That's not the case at all, right? Well, a little bit of it is true. The Native Americans did accept the white men with open arms and peace, but we're going to get into it, right? But first, I want to start out with this Jeremiah 10. I'm going to pull this out probably for a lot of our holiday breakdowns because it's still true, right? Jeremiah 10:2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Learn not the way of the heathen. When they started Thanksgiving, we were getting slaughtered. We were still in captivity. We were still slaves. We were still getting killed. I'm speaking for all of our people, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, right? When they start pushing Thanksgiving, we were still in a state of trouble. Thanksgiving was not set up for us. It was set up for them. It is about them. It was not about us. It's never been about us. It hasn't been about our people coming together with them. It hasn't been about us, tearing down any hatred between each other. That's not what it was about. It's never been about that. Right? So we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to get into it, right? Let me see. The dark truth behind the origins of Thanksgiving, right? Shalom, tree of the field, Shalom, Zion, if I didn't say it already, right? Let's start at the top. Most Americans are taught the same story about Thanksgiving, that pilgrims sat together with Native Americans to share a meal and thank them for helping with the successful first harvest. Bonus points if the story you learn also includes an appearance from Squanto or a lesson in fertilizing crops with fish. But most popular retellings of this first Thanksgiving have been proven to be riddled with mistruths. While you may know that on some level, what's not often discussed is the truth about the holiday's history and effect it has on many Native Americans. It says, so consider this just that, an updated history lesson. Learn why some people choose not to celebrate Thanksgiving and how you can support Native people during the holiday season. It says during the holiday season and beyond. Hello, Edward. Piles, right? It says, okay, so what's the real story behind Thanksgiving? It says you probably have some vague idea that the Thanksgiving holiday is not quite the rosy picture you read about in school, but the real origins of the holiday are not clear cut either. We'll give you the best glimpse at what we know, but note there's a lot of information to digest about this issue, a few supposed origins of the holiday, some of them conflicting. This is the most commonly researched and reported story. According to the New York Times, the Mayflower did in fact bring settlers from England to the land, which they colonized and renamed Plymouth in 1621. Those pilgrims did hold a 3-day feast, which was attended by members of the Wampanoag tribe. However, typically, when these settlers had what they referred to as Thanksgiving observance, they actually fasted. So, this feast and celebration was known as a rejoicing, according to the New Yorker. With that in mind, this meal actually being viewed as the first Thanksgiving is up for a debate with experts. Though there might have been turkey or some other type of poultry served, there was no pie or mashed potatoes that we have this day. They would have probably had seafood as well as Wampanoag dish called nasum, a porridge made of cornmeal which the settlers had adopted. It says, as the Smithsonian points out, discussions of this event are often centered around the settlers, but Native Americans had been on the land for centuries before. And the story from their perspective obviously far predates this feast. When Europeans began coming to what is now known as the United States, about 4 years before the Mayflower arrived, they carried foreign illnesses which killed native people at exceedingly high rates. That then made it easier for colonizers to take over these lands. There's also the fact that settlers came to the lands to kidnap and to sell Native Americans into slavery. See that? Thanksgiving is told from the white man's point of view. Let's just be honest. It's told from his point of view. It's never told from the Native Americans' point of view, right? It's never told from their side what was going on, how did it happen, what took place. It's not told like that. We always hearing it as, the settlers got here and it was a great big kumbaya, a great feast that they all had together. It was a great feast that they all had together. But no, I actually watched a video. It was this one Native American man, and he went over how about millions, and I mean millions of Native Americans were slain during that time. Let me see if I can travel vacation. Let me see if I can find that video. Zaya Brooks. Thanks. Here you go, right here. All right. Let me go over the fair use disclaimer real quick. All right. Fair use, notwithstanding the provisions of sections 106 and 108, 106A, the fair use of a copyrighted work, including such use by reproduction in copies or phono recorders or by any other means specified by that section for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, include multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. So we got that. I'm going to play this video. I might actually have to pull it up on this thing. That way you can hear some audio. So hold on.
One of the stories you talked about was of the Native American being over 10 million at one point, now to less than a million.
When the European invader came here in the late 1490s, there were 112 million of us in this Republic of the United States. It's not a country, it's a republic. And in less than 500 years, through genocidal practices, through the introduction of diseases that we had no immunity to, and other evil things that he brought with him, arrogance, greed, our numbers went from 112 million to less than a million by 1930. How do you kill off 111 million great people, loving people, people that are willing to share whatever they have, regardless of how small it is or how much they got?
You gotta leave it up to Esau. That's how you do it. You gotta leave it up to Esau. This is the stuff that's not being taught to us on Thanksgiving, right? The people who open their arms up to you, the people who are willing to make treaties with you, you killed them off. You brought genocidal practices, like he said, diseases. He spoke about greed. There's an image on the internet about how the white man hunted so much buffalo, and it was just a pile of buffalo and one white man standing up on top of it, and all the buffalo was damn spoiled because they only used it for the hide. They didn't use it for the meat. They didn't take it and use it to where it wouldn't go bad, and now they got meat for days. No, they just let it all spoil. And that was something that the Native Americans used to eat. Right? That's actually in the curses. Let me see if I can pull this up.
I'm gonna try and find that joint in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. You know what I'm talking about?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. You will if I find it.
Okay. This is one of the curses that was put upon our people, right? Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. And the Lord sent a curse upon the Native Americans during that time, which was known as Esau. Right? Here go another one. Deuteronomy 28, 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and it shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. This is what happened when the white man hit this place. The Native Americans' numbers start dwindling quick. Even to this day, you barely see a Native American. You barely see a Native American when they used to be the main people on this land. He said there used to be about 150 to 100 million Native Americans. The numbers got dwindled down to about 1 million. You have to be doing a number. You have to be doing a number on a people. Some tribes became extinct, all because of greed, all because of the want of land. There you go, Ryan. Look at it. Check this out. This is crazy. In 1873, the American government killed 1.5 million buffalo in that 1 year alone to starve the Native Americans so they would become more dependent on the American government to survive. This is what it is. Look at that. You killed 1.5 million just so the Native Americans would depend on you for survival. This don't sound like the great damn Pilgrim story.
Swag you.
It sounds like you're trying to starve people out so they can look to you. Go ahead.
A quick point. This is a classic war tactic that Esau uses throughout history, right? He did that to us in 70 AD. He starved us out, right? And they're gonna do this again. It's a famine coming.
That's a fact. Look at Mahar. You got your precept?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, King.
All right. Verse 6. But the context of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, it talks about what the ungodly men say in their mind. This is what ungodly men, this is their mindset. So you're going to read this, and predominantly it's talking about other nations. Going into Esau. Read the chapter for yourself on your free time. I'm going to read verse 6. It says, "Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth." And this is how Esau gets down. He kind of like YOLO spirit, and it gives them the liberty to kind of do wicked stuff. And how they abused, when it says, let us speedily use the creatures like as in our youth, it's really going into abusing the creatures. And Esau, he does profane things. You got species going extinct because of Esau, and he wants to hunt them for sport. The scriptures is teaching us about Esau and how he wants to hunt just for sport. The scriptures talk about Esau being a bloody man and the kind of man how to see Jake. The Israelites, we cultivate lands. We raise animals. You know what I'm saying? We are shepherds. We are sheep. That's how we get down. But Esau, he wants to go hunt. He likes to kill. That's why, Esau, he'd get really into the sport games, or I say hunt for sports, rather, let's say that. He wears the camo. He'll get out there. He'll put piss all over himself so he blend in, and so the animals that he's trying to hunt can't smell him. And, he got different kind of hunting rifles. He's up in the tree. He waiting for hours. He finally sees what he wants. He damn shoot that nigga in the head. Excuse my French. But this is kind of how Esau does. And he does it not because his family needs food. He'll do it for sport so he can have a damn bear hide on his wall. That's how Esau get down. He want to kill all the exotic animals. He want a cheetah skin, a leopard skin. Hey, another fun fact. They say Alexander the Great, which is an Edomite, a white man, they say he went into battle with leopard skin, and the rest of them was naked. That's what the lore is. Have y'all heard that too?
Yeah.
That's how they get down, kinda. I yield though.
All right, I looked it up. It says, I looked up how many treaties did the white man break with the Native Americans? It says, according to historical records, the United States government is considered to have broken most, if not all, of the approximately 370 treaties ratified with the Native American tribes between 1776 and 1871, meaning nearly all of the treaties were violated in some way. All of the treaties were violated in some way on their behalf. Why? Why were they doing this? Because they wanted the land. They wanted to push the Native Americans out, if not make them slaves, and take over the land for themselves. They don't go over this with us in class. They don't say, yeah, we broke all these treaties and we kind of went behind their back and we killed them. And we learned about the one Native girl. What's her name? The one that was with the white folk. What was her damn name?
Pocahontas.
Damn Pocahontas, man. We learned about her and how she was a great bridge, but damn Pocahontas, man.
Out of everybody, we learn about Pocahontas.
We learn about her. But we don't learn about the 370 treaties that was broken. But you do that to the white man, it's wrong, it's off, it's immoral. You can't do that. We had an agreement. No. But they can pull stunts like this, though. They can slay 1.5 million buffalo in a year. I don't know if anybody knows how much a million is. It's a lot. That is a great number. They can do that. That's the game they play. They cheat and tell you not to cheat. They say cheating is not allowed. You can't cheat. But they cheat. As soon as you cheat, that's unfair. Can't do that. And we're going to learn that with the Dakota. We're going to learn that with the Dakota 38 too. We're going to learn how they get down, right? But let me go back to this brother telling the real about his people.
Great people, loving people, people that are willing to share whatever they have, regardless of how small it is or how much they got. How do you do that?
That's a genocide you don't hear in the history books.
Absolutely. And another form of genocide that they practiced on us was paper genocide. There was a Dr. Arthur Flecker in Virginia, a cold-blooded racist. Flecker.
Let me read this real quick. Area where paper genocide or reclassifying Indians to black, white, or mulatto was first practiced by government offices in the United States, letter spreading to all of America. And I think they did that to, like I said, get them out of their land. You had a Native American, they wouldn't classify you as Native American. They'd classify you as something else. While they would do what? They themselves would be taking on the name of Native Americans so they can get the land. No, I'm Native. Look, I got the papers. I'm Native. I didn't know it was called paper genocide. Didn't know that at all.
Virginia, a cold-blooded racist, through taking a baby, an Indian baby, and instead of putting Indian or tribal name on that birth certificate, he would put mulatto or other. So many people walking around, even today as we speak, 2017, don't know who they are. Because at birth, their identity was destroyed through Dr. Arthur Flecker, the father of eugenics, who became the director of vital statistics during this time for the state of Virginia.
Now, another thing that they teach in the history book was the whole Thanksgiving, the meeting. But we talked about that, and I wanted people to know the truth about that. It was actually, if you want to talk about how Thanksgiving came about.
I do want to talk about it. First of all, you got to remember, my dear brother, that's history, his story. It's not our story. When they proclaimed Thanksgiving, it was in Mystic, Connecticut. A tribe of Indian people, the Pequots, that were thriving and surviving. But shortly after, we taught these white people how to farm and how to take care of the land and raise food. They got beside themselves. A few years after they started prospering, they decided that they were going to take their women and their children out to a big field.
Real quick, Mark, grab that precept in the Apocrypha where it says, like, take heed lest he rise above.
Overthrow you. Yeah.
Yes.
That's Sirach chapter 12. I was thinking the same thing through the Spirit.
All praises. Because what he's describing is because he's saying these people, first off, you got to understand what he meant when he says history is his story. The people that win, the conquer, especially Esau, if they're corrupt, they're going to tell their story. They're going to tell their side to make it seem like everything was great, it was righteous, and we are the right people, right? We are the holy people. This is why it's so hard for everybody to believe that the white man is bad, because they tell you from a youth that they're good. They do it through Disney Channel. They do it through damn Pocahontas. They do it through all of these stories and fairy tales. But when you go into the truth, when you look actually into the paperwork, that's not what it is. So he's saying, this native man is saying, the Pequot tribe, whenever they came and they taught these people how to survive on their land, the natives are teaching these people how to survive on their land. They get beside themselves. They start feeling themselves and smelling themselves. And that's what this precept for. Go ahead.
Come. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humbleth himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
This is powerful. This is bar for bar talking about the white man. Bar for bar. Never trust thine enemy. Never trust thine enemy, though he come crouching humbly. Come on.
Verse 12 says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
Set him not by thee, because when he overthrow you, he's gonna stand up in your place. No, I'm native. I'm Creek. Yeah. No, my father's native. No, my father's the chief. White man just got to the land, and he the damn chief. What's up with that? Go ahead.
Neither let him that sit at thy right hand, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith.
Yep. You're gonna be pricked therewith. He's gonna take your spot. He's gonna take your position and overthrow you. And now this is our land, and y'all got reservations. But what about the treaty? And he kind of burned the treaty. What are you talking about? What treaty? You know, we only did that so you could uphold your end. We wasn't going to uphold our. We wasn't going to uphold ours. That's when they sit back in the in the back, and they laugh at you. Malachi, grab Psalms 55 and 20. Mahar dropped it in the chat. Grab Psalms 55 and 20. They sit in the back and they kind of snicker and laugh, and they say, we kind of got them. They're starving now. Now they need us. That's a damn shame. But we don't go over this. We don't talk about this on Thanksgiving. You know what we talk about? We talk about gathered together, and it was a great big feast, and it was just all harmony, and it was peace, and it was love, and it was great. No, it wasn't. I used to be with some Native Americans, and I went to their Thanksgiving, and it was damn madness. The hell are y'all celebrating Thanksgiving for? What are we doing? What are we doing? Y'all know the origins of this. What are we doing? Oh, it's about family and love and getting together. And y'all could have did that any other day. Y'all can do that any other time, but you chose today. You chose to eat all the things that they tell you to eat and do all the things they tell you to do. For what? That's a damn shame, man. Malachi, grab that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 20. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant.
It says he hath put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. And he has broken his covenant. Look it up. He's a covenant breaker. Broke over 370 treaties. The Native American is bound by honor. He's like, no, we made the treaty. We're going to make the treaty. We're going to do the treaty. You got an honorable man, and then you got a fox. You have a snake. You have a serpent. And he's backbiting at every single turn. At every single turn, backbiting. Here go a few blankets. Next thing you know, the whole tribe wiped out. And they just come move on in. We're the Wampanoag tribe now. Damn white man. We're the Wampanoags. No, we're the Cherokees now. I'm the chief.
Paper genocide.
Paper damn genocide. Keep reading verse 21.
Verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
This is Esau. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna grow together. We're all gonna benefit. It's gonna be great. You guys do this. We're gonna do that. It's gonna be great. All we gotta do is just sign the paperwork. Just sign here. And then they go back, and now they're talking about how can they pillage you and your people. They really showed up to count how many warriors you have. They really showed up to see the layout of the land. They don't got guns. We're gonna go in tonight with our muskets, and then we're just gonna take everybody over because they think we're at peace right now. We're gonna pull up tonight. We're gonna kill everybody there, or they don't have immunity to our diseases. We can bring these things over. The white man brought so much stuff over to this land. You know, the roach came from the white man. The roaches that we see came from the white man. The roach isn't native to this land. It came from the white man. All these diseases came from them because they are an unclean people. The natives wasn't dealing with these diseases. They were clean.
Yep. So like you.
Go ahead, King.
One of the reasons how they kept themselves clean, guess what? Some of the traditions, I would say, that the natives had, they were spot on with the law, statute, commandments. Upon my research a few years ago, certain tribes, they practice the clean and unclean laws. As far as if a man have an issue in his flesh, if the woman is on her menstrual cycle, they would separate themselves. They wouldn't have sex with her while she's on her menstrual cycle. The reason why I go into this, they started keeping the law, statute, commandments and keep you safe from diseases.
Yeah.
How they handled their food, it kept them safe from diseases. They wasn't out there only eating unclean foods. Little stuff like that, it makes a big difference when you got a whole tribe of people. So like, it's back on you, Ken.
No sweat. I'm gonna get back to this video. I'm actually trying to look for this video I want. That might be it. All right, let's get back to this video.
And have a cookout celebration. A big meal. And have a cookout celebration. No Indians brought deer. There was never a Thanksgiving dinner with them, according to what they say. Not true. The celebration of Thanksgiving was the men walked off from their families and went further north into Mr. Connecticut, and he murdered these Pequot Indian children, elders, women, and men. Got them in the enclosure of their habitat. They had built forts, per se, but that was only for the protection of their people. And they trapped them in where they couldn't get out, and they set it on fire, and they burned them to death. Then they came back. They were so thankful that they had killed these Indians, but that was the first Thanksgiving, not what you read about in their books.
It wasn't until when President Lincoln decided, instead of having it every other day when they were going to different tribes, killing them, that he decided to make it once a year, a day of Thanksgiving once a year.
True. But let me tell you about President Lincoln. Because Indians, the Dakota, and Dakota Indians.
We'll get into the Dakota here in a second, right? But what is he talking about? Thanksgiving, they actually celebrated it often because they were killing the natives often. They were killing them so often that they were celebrating it damn near every other day. But this is what it is. This is what he was going over right here. From then on, Pilgrims celebrated Thanksgiving in their traditional way of fasting and praying, according to the New Yorker. Several times this happened because of the massacres of Native people, including in 1637, when the Massachusetts colony governor John Winthrop declared a day of Thanksgiving after volunteers murdered 700 Pequot people. This incident is also often cited as the first official mention of Thanksgiving ceremony, and is another commonly cited origin story for the Thanksgiving we know today. This is your Thanksgiving. You murdered 700 innocent Pequot people, and as he described, they burned them. They burned them. This is what happened. On this day, when you're getting ready to celebrate and you're getting ready to eat and partake in these things, meditate on this, on how they killed God's people. See if you want to be a partaker in that. The celebration of killing God's people. I'm not going to do that. Doesn't seem smart. I'm cool. Go ahead, King.
Hey, man, listen. If your family is celebrating Thanksgiving, do not go over there. Don't be persuaded. Don't let them tell you, oh, just come get you a plate. Oh, just come for 5-10 minutes. Say hi to everybody. Just spend a little time with the family. Don't come through just to pick up your favorite Thanksgiving dish just to grab a plate. Don't do none of that. Don't go over there, right? Because you're gonna end up in sin, man. You're gonna end up going off, man. Just don't be persuaded, man. Don't let Satan hit you with the okie doke, man. Don't be damn keeping Thanksgiving.
Yep. Don't be ignorant. Do not be ignorant, man. And that's what we're going over now. A lot of people are ignorant about this. A lot of people still think it is, a damn fairy tale story. And it ended happily after. No, the original story happened when they began slaying 700 men, women, and children. That's what happened. Look at this. The atrocities against the Native Americans did not end with the diseases or massacres of mentioned above. So seeing people celebrated the positive myth around Thanksgiving can be frustrating and painful for many. especially indigenous people. Combine that with the fact that some non-natives choose to dress up in things like headdresses in honor of Thanksgiving, which many see as a mockery of sacred dress. And it is a damn mockery. It is a mockery. You know what that represents? Paper genocide. You see white men dressing up with the damn headdresses on that the natives was. And they kind of like, I'm the natives now. Many of their people died in that time. They died in that time. And they turned it into a damn celebration. A national holiday in their land. Gave them little to nothing. Now let's get into Dakota 38. Because this is heavy. This is heavy, right? I'm going to share the screen. Share the screen. I didn't know about the Dakota 38. Had no idea about it. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Christmas time, think about.
Y'all heard that?
Yep.
That.
Those who have died crucified in the city of Mankato.
After the end of the U.S.-Dakota War of 1862, 303 Dakota men were sentenced to death. However, Abraham Lincoln refused to sign off on the execution and decided to carefully review each case. Lincoln was conflicted about whether to agree to the execution list, to appease Minnesota's call for revenge, or to fall on the side of mercy and execute only a few. In the end, he compromised and reduced the list down to 38. They were hung on December 26, 1862, in what will be the largest mass hanging in United States history. Lincoln's decision angered Minnesota's representatives in Congress, resulting in all Dakota being exiled from the state.
So if you didn't catch what was going on, that's fine. She was just summarizing it. We're going to break it down, right?
In 1851, through pressure and coercion from the government, the Dakota sold 21 million acres of land in the Treaty of Traverse des Sioux. In exchange,
the Dakota sold 21 million acres of land through pressure and deceit to the government, right? And you selling that much land, you expect to get a lot of money, right?
The Dakota will receive $1.6 million, around 7.5 cents per acre. However, the government only paid the interest the money accumulated, resulting in less than 20% of the original amount reaching the Dakota.
Did y'all hear that? They didn't pay that. They only paid about 20% about what they were supposed to get. So they sold a mass amount of land for damn near nothing, which can leave a people, without. They need money. They just sold all this land through pressure, through coercion.
The Dakota were prohibited from hunting outside of their two 10-square-mile reservations, and in 1862 were experiencing poor crop yields and food shortages.
They were no longer allowed to hunt outside the small amount of land that they have, and they were experiencing a hard crop time.
Many traders cut off credit with the Dakota, and Indian agent Thomas Galbraith refused to distribute food. As a result, hunger became widespread, and tension grew between the U.S. and the Dakota. On August 18th, 18th refused to distribute.
So this Edomite, they had a treaty set up amongst the Dakota and the government that this man was supposed to deliver certain food to the Dakota tribe, to their people. But what happened? He wasn't doing that. He didn't come up on his end of the deal. The government did not come up on their end of the deal. So now you trick the man out of his land. You tricked a man out of his money. You tricked a man out of his food. What do you expect?
Food. As a result, hunger became widespread and tension grew between the U.S. and the Dakota. On August 18, 1862, the Dakota went to war against the state of Minnesota. The U.S. Dakota War lasted 6 weeks from August 18th to September 26th. During that time, an estimated of 600 U.S. citizens were killed, and around 80 Dakota warriors died. Of this,
I don't know if y'all heard those numbers. The Dakota was whooping ass. They was spanking ass. They killed over 600 of the U.S. Meanwhile, only 80 of them died. They was whooping ass. The natives is warriors. You on our land. We know the land better than you. We got better men than you. We stronger than you. We faster than you. They was spanking ass. You got to imagine what they fueled by. They're fueled by anger. You promised us $1 million, but we don't see none of that. You promised us you would bring us food, but we've been here starving. What happened to all those treaties? So this is what I was saying. The white man say you can't cheat, but they'll cheat the whole time behind your back. And as soon as you start cheating, as soon as you say no, that's not fair, I'm gonna do it my own way. No, you can't do that. That's not fair. Dakota starts spanking ass.
600 U.S. citizens, around 120 soldiers, are armed civilians, and their remaining were unarmed civilians, around 30% of which were under the age of 10. The war demolished the town of New Ulm, located along the southern side of the Dakota Territory, and the majority of the settlers living there fled to avoid the violence. Following their surrender, the Dakota men accused of participating in the war were put on trial. A military commission of 5 people, assembled by Henry Sibley, a colonel that participated in the war, set out to try the 396 Dakota accused of crimes. The trials were dealt with swiftly, without care for accuracy or precision. On average, the defendants were tried with no more than 107 words spoken for or against them. 8 defendants were sentenced to death having spoken fewer than 10 words, with no witness testimony. Many of the defendants spoke little to no English, and were sentenced to death before they were aware of what they were confessing to. In addition, the Dakota were given no defense counsel and relied on the commission to prepare witnesses. After a mere 5 weeks, the commission concluded the trials, sentencing 303 Dakota to death.
So you're not catching up, because I know she kind of speak a little weird, but these trials were done unfairly. These trials were done super fast. They were ending trials so quick. They got through about 40 people on average a day. A trial does not last that damn long. You last a trial for sometimes years. But no, they're getting through 40 people a day. Guilty. Slam the gavel. Guilty. Slam the gavel. Guilty. They're not able to defend themselves. They're not able to do anything. You're in the white man's court. You're in the white man's system. He handled it in the judicial system in his way, how he sees fair. Go ahead, King.
If you heard what they said the natives didn't have no defense counsel, right? They were sending Edomites to go defend the Native Americans in court. So how do you think that went?
Yeah.
They don't play fair, man.
They don't play fair at all. You think it's getting brought up in court about how they got tricked out of their money? You think it's getting brought up in court how they got tricked out of their land? You think it's getting brought up in court how they weren't getting their food? You think that's getting brought up? No. The white man like, nah, you shouldn't have did that though. You should have kept letting us screw you over. That was the only way you win. If you just kept letting us screw you over. That's how they play. Let's keep watching.
Being Dakota means that you were guilty before any consideration of being innocent.
The list of 303 men were telegraphed to President Lincoln by General John Pope on November 5, 1862. Despite the wishes of Sibley and Pope, Lincoln did not immediately sign off on the execution. Instead, he requested for the complete report of the convictions to determine who were the most guilty. He did not agree with killing 300 men and originally decided to only execute those who were convicted of rape. However, after reviewing the proceedings, only 2 men were convicted of rape. He knew very well that the people of Minnesota would not be satisfied with the death of 2.
And damn Lincoln. Everybody want to make him the superhero, right? Lincoln, why Lincoln didn't go back and look through the matter from the Native Americans' perspective? Why didn't he do all of that? He just said, nah, this is too much people to kill. Let's dwindle it down to the people that raped. Couldn't keep his word on that. It was only 2 people that found raped somebody. No, that's not going to be good enough. The people aren't going to be happy with just 2 people dying. So he got to figure something out. He didn't come out and say, no, wait, we kind of screwed these guys over, right? They got their get back. Hey, let's square this out. You know what I'm saying? Because we kind of tricked them over. Nah, he didn't say that. Not to mention, we're going to find out what happened at the end. Let's just see. Let's watch.
The settlers in Minnesota, angry and fearful, were out for blood. Newspapers from across the state published articles calling for the execution of all those who were involved in the war.
Look at what they posted. That the life of a single citizen of the United States is worth more than their whole nation. This is what they think about you. This is how they always thought about you. That one single person of their people is worth your whole nation. You'll always be below us. This is how they get down. This is how they get down. Look at that. Resolve that earnestly demand of the President of the United States the speedy execution of those convicted savages now in prison at this place. This is how they're getting down. And if you say something about it, you're in the wrong. If you bring up the truth, you're in the wrong. If you mention how they killed over 100 million, you're in the wrong. Let it go. That's the past. You try doing that with the Ish people. Watch how quick they get on your ass. Try doing that with they people. Try doing that with any people. Any ancient back in the day slaughtering massacre of any nation, they're going to get on your ass. Our people, though, we got a zip lip. If it was done to us, it's totally fine. Let it go. This is what they think about you. And then they hold a damn feast and tell you to celebrate alongside of them. They hold a damn feast about the massacre of your people and say, hey, guys, come celebrate the killing of your people with us. Let's let bygones be bygones, man. It's all good.
Many state politicians shared these views and voiced their opinions to Lincoln. Governor Alexander Ramsey sent a telegram to the president asking him to sign off on the execution, saying it'd be wrong on principle and policy to refuse this. He went further to say that he was concerned about the people of Minnesota turning violent and forming a lynch mob. Apparently, this view was not unfounded, as a group of Minnesotans came to Mankato on December 4, 1862, attempting to seek vengeance themselves. The guards watching the prisoners were able to stop them before their plans took effect. However, these weren't the only opinions presented to the president. Minnesota's first Episcopal Bishop, Henry Whipple, having seen the conditions on the reservations, became an advocate for the Dakota.
This damn Edomite, this devil, not this one, this devil. This nigga, he came and seen the conditions on the reservations and said, damn, I'm kind of with them. Look what we doing to them. He came an advocate for the natives because he seen the conditions on the reservations. Still to this day, it's not great. You don't want to be on a reservation. They give you the slop. When the natives had this whole thing, they had all of this. Through deceit, rape, rob, murder, guile, unfairness, they took it over. We're going to kill and slay 1.5 million buffalo. That way you can depend on us. That's how they got down.
Having seen the conditions on the reservations, became an advocate for the Dakota. Since before the war, Whipple had been corresponding with both local politicians and the president himself, asking for reforms for how the government treated the Dakota and other Minnesotan tribes. Following the wars and the trials, he traveled to Washington to urge the president to have mercy on the convicted. He argued it was mistreatment by the government that caused the uprising, and because of this, only the leaders of the war should be killed. With many people weighing into the argument, Lincoln decided to take a middle ground, seeing he could not afford to hang men for votes. He reduced the original number of 303, but expanded the list beyond just the leaders. On December 6, 1862, Lincoln published his final list of 39 individuals who participated in the civilian massacre, one of whom was pardoned just before the execution. The day following Christmas, 4,000 spectators arrived in Mankato, Minnesota, to witness.
This is how they get down. You got 4,000 of their people coming to watch you die. This is sport to them. They couldn't wait. They wanted more. You got 4,000 people showing up as if this is a damn basketball game. They're coming to watch you die. It's not normal to watch somebody die, but they're coming to watch you die.
It's the largest mass hanging in the history of the United States.
Understand that this was the largest mass hanging in the history of the United States. They came to watch the largest mass hanging in the history of the United States, the 38 Dakota men. Go ahead, Kai.
Bro. Like, I just got a question. It's like, at what, these are your everyday Americans right here, right? 4,000 of them came to rejoice and turn up and high five and watch the Native Americans get hung, man. And they feel like that's justice being served. Knowing what they did to these people, they came to just gather around and, you know, watch this. But my question is this, like, at what point did these people have this such change of heart that they trying to sell us on that they got these days, to where they really believe everybody's equal and they love everyone and there's no, like, when did these people change? They was already in prosperity during this time. They had just hijacked the Native Americans for everything. You know what I'm saying? Really sticking it to them, right? At what point did these people become good people? At what point did everything become okay? You got Jake, who really sold on the fact that we need to just, you know, put it behind us and then turn over a new leaf and just stop making excuses. They just brainwashed, bro. And it's like, at what, this, the main question is, at what point did these people change, bro? At what point did these people become good, man?
Yeah.
Bro.
When did it happen? When did that happen?
They was already Christian.
Arrived.
Salakia, bro. I could keep going, bro. Go ahead, man.
You good, bro. You good, bro. I didn't know you wanted some more. You good. You good. Hey, I feel you, bro.
In Mankato, Minnesota, 1862, Lincoln published his final list of 39 individuals who participated in the civilian massacre, one of whom was pardoned just before the execution. The day following Christmas, 4,000 spectators arrived in Mankato, Minnesota, to witness the largest mass hanging in the history of the United States. The 38 men were brought up to the scaffold, singing and holding hands. At 10 a.m., the rope was cut and the men were left.
This is how they going out. They pulled up singing, holding hands. These men pulled up singing, holding hands because they know what's finna take place. They know the injustice that's happening upon them, and yet they singing, holding hands. And man, I bet you the white man hated it. I bet you they hated every bit of it. Why are they singing? Guess what? This took place the day after Christmas. This lynching took place December 26th, the day after Christmas. These niggas got done opening presents while your ass was in captivity, and they knew tomorrow they were finna go watch a lynching.
Bro, what's up? Why they wasn't being good Christians at this time? Why wasn't
Bro,
the white
like,
man? Why wasn't the white man being good Christians at this time? Why didn't they forgive them and maybe turn the other cheek?
Yeah.
Why didn't they see any of their faults in the situation?
Where was John 3:16 at? Where was Christ loved the world at?
Where was that at?
Where was that at? But when you speak up about the shit they do, Christ, brother. These guys were actually killing us. Killing us. No wrongdoing in what they did. No Bible was cracked open. None of that. You know what they say? One of our people is worth their whole nation.
What happened to Christianity, man?
Damn madness.
In the history of the United States. The 38 men were brought up to the scaffold, singing and holding hands. At 10 a.m., the rope was cut, and the men were left for 30 minutes before being cut down and buried in a mass grave. By morning, less than half of the bodies remained. The others dug up to be used as medical cadavers. Their reaction to Lincoln's decision to spare 265 of the 303 men was instantaneous. Senator Morton Wilkinson and Representatives William Windom, who had previously sent a letter to Lincoln discouraging him from showing mercy, proposed bills in the U.S. Senate and House to exile the Dakota 10 days after Lincoln's decision was announced. By March of 1863, the legislation passed, exiling virtually all Dakota from Minnesota, as well as nullifying all remaining treaties. The Dakota, as well as the Ho-Chunk, who hadn't participated in the war, were pushed into reservations into the Dakotas and Nebraska.
What more do they want? What more do they damn want? You killed our men. You killed innocent men. You took our land. You took millions of acres of our land. You took our food. We couldn't hunt. And now you exile us out of the land we have here. God damn, the scriptures say it. A covetous man is never satisfied, man. A covetous man, he is never satisfied. What more do you damn want? You already know this led to many of our people dying during this exile.
Salakia.
Go ahead, King.
This is why you got to be ready to stand on business at any time with these people, man. Because you see how they came. They came with a false sense of peace, with a false sense of love. Everything was supposed to be cool. Then they just stab you in the back every single time. Every 5 minutes, they raiding y'all. They killing y'all. They ravaging your women. They slaughtering your children. Every time you look up. Then they turn around like, all right, we done. We're gonna make a treaty. It's cool, you know. Then they do it again. Don't be one of those them people in these last days where you got some hope for these people, where you think like maybe there's some resolve. There's no resolve, right? The prophecies got to go forth, man. They got to be destroyed. And you got to make that up in your mind. The people back in this time who didn't make it up in their mind, they was probably killed, right? The ones who fought, a lot of them, they got, but the ones who tried to seek peace with these people, you get backstabbed every time. That's my point. You try to seek peace with these people, you get backstabbed every time. These people are animals.
That's a fact.
Volunteer scouts were set up to patrol the area for any remaining Dakota, and a bounty was placed at $75 for the scalp of a Dakota person.
Bounty was placed on these people, man. $75 for the scalp of a Dakota.
The amount was raised to $200 by September of 1863, or roughly $4,600 in today's dollars. In total, more than a quarter of the Dakota who had surrendered had died.
Where was Christianity at when they was putting damn bounties on these men? You putting four bands on this man's head. Just find any of them. You know what that a white man isn't going to stop at just finding one inside the land. He's going to go search and look for one and bring them back. That's how they get down. Where's damn Abraham Lincoln at that point? Where's the justice at?
By the end of 1863. To this day, the order to exile Dakota remains as a law, and no Dakota reservations were made in Minnesota.
It's still a law. They didn't go back and get rid of it and say we kind of feel bad. It's still there. They're not allowed to this day. Still, the perpetual hatred of Esau, it still exists. I know some of us probably had some hope. Well, the white man wouldn't do it today. That's a damn lie. It's still in effect. Get your head out your ass. Wake up. Smell the coffee. They hate you. While you seek their love, they hate you.
I got a precept for you.
Go ahead, Aunt.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end.
They had a perpetual hatred against our people. Dakota didn't do nothing. They were living on their land. And then you came with your lies and your deceit, your cunningness. You are a breaker of covenants. And they was tired of it. But what do? You go to the court and you hold yourself not guilty. You take it to your justice system. That's what it's saying, Wisdom of Solomon 2. Let's grab that because it say that in there as well. Let me see if I can find it. Boom. Wisdom of Solomon 2. I'm gonna start at 10 because this is crazy. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Esau doesn't have mercy for us. They left the men up there hanging for 30 minutes. 30 minutes they stayed up there hanging. It says, let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. That's their strength. Let's take it to court. In a corrupt ass court system. Let our strength be the law of justice. It's not damn justice being served in there. Justice is taking everything into account. The breaking of treaties. What was the punishment for that? Did they ever get punished for that? The breaking of over 370 treaties. Well, did anybody ever say anything about that? But as soon as you fuck up, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, they own your ass. We come to tell you, open your eyes. They're not who they seem to be. You hate us for it.
Mm-hmm.
You turn your back on us for it. Coon ass niggas, man.
Hey, Salakia. So look, if you still straddling the fence with Christianity, if you still straddling the fence with trying to love these people and trying to find some solution with these people, I really pray that this is a wake-up call for you, right? There's no sense with these people. It's just like how our forefather, it was either Abraham or Isaac, but they went to Egypt, I believe, and he feared that the fear of God might not be in that place. So he told him that his wife was his sister, right? But my point is, he thought those people were savages. He thought the fear of God would not be in that place. So that's why he told him that was his sister. These people are not sensible people, right? There's no fear of God in these people. You can't reason with them. You can't make peace with them. You cannot live peacefully alongside them. They're not going to allow it. It's not possible. It's not even biblical. It's not prophecy. It's not how it's going to go down. Stop trying to save these people. Stop trying to make peace in different revolutions. Stop trying to make peace in different resolutions with these people. They are your enemy. Never trust thine enemy.
Only small communities gathered throughout the southern half of the state. The events of 1862 still have an impact on the Dakota today. Several studies have shown a correlation between historical losses in Native communities like the Dakota and mental and physical effects today, such as high rates of depression, alcoholism, and suicide. High rates of
Look at this. Look at this. And lifetime alcohol use disorder by race and ethnicity, and it impacts them greatly. You got to think about it. They got their land stolen from them, and they had it all. They had it all, and it was stolen from them. And now for them to get it back, they got to do X, Y, Z, or they can't get it back, or you got to go through all these loopholes, and you got Native women being raped and found dead on the reservations, and they're trying to put pipes through the reservations. They don't got good water there. The schooling, the education is terrible there. It wasn't set up for them to win. It wasn't set up for them to win.
depression, alcoholism, and suicide. Still, they have made efforts to heal the traumas of their past. Every year since 2005, people ride on horseback 330 miles to the site where the 38 were hung, now called Reconciliation Park. For years, the U.S.-Dakota War and the events of 1862 were treated as Minnesota's dark secret, and the Native American perspective was absent in teaching Minnesota's history.
So, but there's a lot of adults walking around today who have no idea what happened and no idea of this particular chapter in history at all.
However, in recent years, Minnesota has made efforts to include Native American history in our schools. The Minnesota statute outlining academic standards states that the commissioner must include the contributions of Minnesota's American Indian tribes whenever the standards are revised. In addition, in 2011, a 6th grade standard was added requiring teachers to teach the U.S.-Dakota War. Despite this, there are many schools who leave the Native American perspective out of their curriculum.
And it's supposed to be taught. But if a teacher doesn't feel comfortable with it, they don't teach it. So we're trying to change that.
The fight.
Why the hell wouldn't a teacher feel comfortable? Because the teachers, look at the, I ain't feeling him. I don't know about these two guys in the back. They might be paper genocide buddies. I don't know. He looked a little too happy. But why the hell wouldn't the teacher feel comfortable about it? Something called, if y'all don't know about it, I believe it's called white guilt. You see, white guilt. The feeling of white guilt has been described as psychologists such as Lisa and Mary Hefner as one of the psychosocial consequences of racism for white individuals, along with empathy for victims of racism and fear of non-white people. They got something going on called white guilt now, where they feel bad. And I'm just not comfortable teaching it. I can't do it. I'm white. I did this, I did that. They make up every damn thing for these people. They make up every damn thing for these people. Meanwhile, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native, you just got to deal with what the hell was done to you. Go grab a beer, nigga. You'll be all right.
It's a lot.
Go ahead.
This is just why their punishment is going to be as great as it's going to be. It's going to be unbearable. It's going to be magnificent. It's going to be extreme. It's going to be large. You got to understand. This is just one account we're going into. Right now, we're just talking about Dakota 38. But think about the other close to 400 treaties that they broke with the Native Americans in a 100 years span? Time span, Aharon?
Mm-hmm.
The amount of evil that was done, and you got to think about it, bro. We don't have no priest, we don't have no prophet, we don't have no leaders, like the scriptures say, who's able to stand up for us and help us receive our justice. Actually, let me grab that in Isaiah 59.
Right.
Watch this. It's a good scripture, man. And me and Aharon, Malachi, we was talking about this. Whenever people can't defend themselves, that's when the Most High steps in. The Most High always steps in for the poor, the fatherless, the widow. And that's who we are. When you read the good news and say that we the brokenhearted, we shut up in prison houses. We the poor. That's our code names in the scriptures, in the prophecies. So whenever we don't have someone to stand up and defend our cause, the Most High intervenes. Understand that. And it's going to be a lot worse because you're not going to be able to beat Yahweh. Why Yahweh shot? This is the book of Isaiah chapter 59. I'm going to start at verse 14. Isaiah 59 and 14. And judgment is turned away backward. Right? Aharon just read a scripture in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. That's their strength. These courthouses, these corrupt courthouses, they want to take you to court. They love taking the Dakota tribe into the courthouses, into their arena, and putting them on trial. They love that.
Yep.
There was no strength in our hand. That's where they win. And judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. These courts, everyone knows this. They courthouses was never built on justice. It wasn't ever really in God we trust, and we really gonna do it like that. It was never that. That's all a hoax. That's all fake. That's all smoke and mirrors. That's the image they want you to believe in. But you know when you go in that court, everyone knows. Every American knows. Everyone knows the secret is out. The whole world knows now. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. So the truth and what's right, that's done. That's not going to get you nowhere, especially not in their society and their system. It's not going to work. Their system is built, their whole kingdom. Look at how it was built. Look at how they got the land of Dakota. Look at how they got that. It was all built on lies, robbery, deceit, extortion, murder. Yea, truth faileth, and he that departeth from evil maketh himself a prey. Understand what that says. Truth faileth. It's not abounding no more. And if you depart from wickedness, evil, and sin in this society, if you go away from away from sin, you turn your back on sin and evil, you making yourself a prey to them. You're making yourself their enemy.
Yep.
You're making yourself an outcast. You're putting yourself as a opponent and opposition to what they're trying to forward in their society. That's what this scripture says. When you start doing what's right, now you an enemy. Because they on the evil side. If you don't want to be evil no more, now they go on your bumper. It says, and the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. So when the Lord sees that the evilness is abounding, and when someone does right, they get in trouble for it, it displeased Yahweh and makes him furious. And when he saw that there was no man and wondered that there was no intercessor, therefore his arm brought salvation unto him, and his righteousness, it sustained him. So when the Lord seen that there was nobody to stand up for what was right, for what is good, it displeased Yahweh and makes him angry. And he said, now I'm going to stand up for them. Now I'm going to protect them. Now I'm going to bring near my salvation. That's the whole point of Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. That's the whole point of our Savior. That was the whole point. People want to classify Yahweh Shah or Jesus with everyone's salvation. It was never meant for that. We're the ones who needed that. We're the ones who still need that. We're the ones who's going to get that. But you got this veil of darkness, just this cover of lies, and it's spread open over the whole earth, and nobody can really see what's going on. There's so many lies. Nobody can figure out the truth. But blessed is y'all eyes and blessed is y'all ears, because y'all waking up in these last days and understanding what's going on, understanding who your enemy is, understanding what salvation is and who it's for. All praises to the Most High. I yield.
Last part we're going to get is this letter from one of the men that got executed to the chief, right? What you're going to find out is it looks like even the chief may have been in cahoots, right? It says, you have deceived me. You told me that if we followed the advice of General Sibley and gave ourselves up to the whites, all would be well. No innocent man would be injured. I have not killed, wounded, or injured a white man or any white persons. I have not participated in the plunder of their property, and yet today I am set apart for execution and must die in a few days, while men who are guilty will remain in prison. My wife is your daughter. My children are your grandchildren. I leave them all in your care and under your protection. Do not let them suffer. And when my children are grown up, let them know that their father died because he followed the advice of his chief, and without having the blood of a white man to answer for to the Great Spirit. This was his letter, man, before he was executed. This was his letter. He had to take advice from the damn chief. Him being innocent, he didn't touch anybody, and yet he's a part of 38. Now he got to die in a couple of days. This is how you know that this trial that they had was damn madness. It was just folly. If you were a Dakota, you were done. That's all it was. They just killed 38 men and made an example out of them. After that, they hunted them down like dogs. Get the hell out of the land. $4,000 for whoever's scalp. That's all that was going on. Right? That's all I got for this. Before y'all go celebrate damn Thanksgiving, keep this in your mind. That the Lord is against Thanksgiving. The Most High is against the killing of his people. And if you take part in that, you'll take part in the judgment that's coming to this place very soon. Right? Brothers, y'all got anything else?
Wow.
Kind. I want to say the water for everybody tuning in. With that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God Yahweh, by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua. And I want to say Shalom.
Shalom.